Fear is an interesting thing. I talked about the two fears you're born with at birth: fear of falling, fear of loud noises, and every other fear is learned. So I want to talk about two examples that I saw this week of that. The first is, and it's important to remember, sometimes you're not afraid of the actual incident, but you're afraid of what happens after it. So I have a mentee, smart guy, super aggressive guy. He's cold called up to, I think, 900 calls in a week. He's knocked on a lot of doors unsolicited. He's talked to a lot of owners, and he's got 5 financials that have been received back from those potential sellers. So I asked him what the status of those were, and he said that he hadn't done anything with them. And I just found that really interesting. Here's a guy that's not afraid of too much in the process that he's already gone through: cold calling, talking to owners, sending NDAs, getting financials. But at the step which is arguably one of the easiest, and that is to analyze those financials with your board, which literally initially is going to take 5 to 10 minutes per, he's stuck at that. So why would that be? He clearly has mastered his fears in other ways, but on that, no, he hasn't. So he's probably not worried about the act of actually analyzing them. That's pretty simple. He's an engineering student, no problem there. It may be a fear of success. It may be the step that comes after that then he's got to actually do the things that ultimately he's in the process of doing to get a desired outcome. But maybe he's afraid of that desired outcome. So if you don't analyze the financials, you have to never worry about what happens next. And that's an example I used with him, was to say that's like fishing, catching a fish, setting the fish aside. Don't take care of the fish so that you can eat it or whatever. Just set it aside and throw the line back in the water, because he continued to cold calling. So I said to him this week, just forget about cold calling, forget about everything else. Just go ahead and analyze those 5 deals with your team. And he said, you got it. And I believe that that's going to happen. The second was a mentee who sent a letter to a big hitter. I sent her a piece of information that I thought would be helpful in following up. And she said, I'll send something in the morning. Okay. Then almost immediately after that, I got an email that said, or in 2 or 3 weeks. So why is that? That certainly is fear of making that next connection because of the outcome that you expect or that you're afraid of, or what that next one leads to something. So just think about that. Think about, we all have fears. We all get through those fears by doing the thing that we fear. Public speaking is a good example of that. And sometimes people don't take action because they say if they don't take action, they'll never have to do the next step or experience the next outcome, whatever that is. Public speaking could be like that. Well, I'm never going to do a speech because what if they laugh at me? And if I don't do it, nobody will laugh at me. Okay. But if you do it most of the time, the expectation of the bad things that can happen is not anywhere near what actually happens. It usually is much, much less of an experience than you dream up in your mind. So think about that and put that into action with respect to the things that are holding you back and that you're afraid to do. Most of the time, pushing through those will destroy that fear, and the outcome will be a whole lot better than you expected it to be. So one of the things I'm asked a lot about is how to start conversations, templates, scripts, that sort of thing. So go over to brucewhipple.com, go to the free class. You're going to have to put your email in there, but I did a piece on conversation starters, how to get started talking to chair people, accountants and lawyers, financial institutions, prospects as well. So that, I think, will help you in getting started, which again is one of the most important things in overcoming fear. Just take that first step. So I hope that helps. I hope you recognize that we all have fears. You're no different than anybody else, and that you will get through those fears by taking action and confronting those fears.